Hello! Today's stories come from r/survivingInfidelity. We've got two stories. First up, wife cheated for 15 years of our 35-year marriage. Got confirmation a few months ago. I posted and cheated on and was told to tell my story here. So here's the full story. My wife and I have known each other since we were 4 years old. Her father and my father played football in high school together, and my father was the best man at her father's first marriage. We played together as kids and lived only 2 blocks apart. My family had an antique business, and her family often came to the shows. Lisa would say she came to find me, and we would walk around the grounds together. In 7th grade, her parents divorced, and she moved with her mother, so I only saw her at the antique shows with her mother. We still walked around with each other. We met up in high school again, and she had a boyfriend. She still flirted with me at antique shows when she was not with her boyfriend. So when she broke up with her boyfriend our junior year, I asked her out. We dated for 3 months. She asked me to be intimate with her, and I said no, as I believe we needed to wait until we were married. One night, during a date at the fair, she said she was staying at the fair, so I went home. A couple weeks later, she let me know she hooked up with a carny and became pregnant. I told her I would help her, but she said she would take care of it, and she was not ready for a steady relationship. We obviously broke up. We kept meeting at antique shows where she would ask me to walk around with her. She even started helping my parents as a ticket taker when my parents started running shows. My wife continued to flirt with me despite being with various boyfriends. I went off to college after graduating. When I was home one Christmas my sophomore year, I ran into her and she asked for a ride home. I took her home and we talked. She again flirted with me and tried to get more physical, but I still told her no. I went home and she called me a couple days later. I called her a couple weeks later to ask her to help out my mom as a ticket taker, and she told me she couldn't, as she just had a baby. She asked me to come up. I went to her house and saw her and the baby. She confessed that she had always loved me, but she always thought I was too good for her. We talked and started dating again. After a year of dating, she broke down and told me if I really loved her, I would get intimate with her. I figured we were engaged, so it was okay, and then 2 weeks later, she told me she was pregnant. At the time, one of her male friends asked my wife if the kids were his. I thought it was a bad joke, but after all that happened, I'm not sure anymore. We got married and I adopted her daughter. I thought we had a happy relationship. Everyone said we were a perfect couple, and her girlfriend said how lucky she was to have me to take care of her. After 7 years, her father died and we were moving to a new state for work. She contacted the same carny she slept with when we were in high school and started cheating with him. She created elaborate lies, and after we moved to the state, she moved out to live with him. We both saw divorce lawyers, and basically, I was told I would lose my kids. After 4 months, he kicked her out because he did not like her lack of basic housekeeping skills or having to take care of her children. She apologized and stated she was so sorry, so we got back together. She was again pregnant with his child. We kept this information from everyone. We moved again, and after about 5 years, one of her friends started cheating on her husband and introduced my wife to online hookup sites. My wife denied going on the sites, but when I found her email that she was using and looked it up, she admitted that she was on the site, but she denied having any affairs. She was just there to chat about S&M, as I was not into that. We moved again, and I suspected she was cheating several times. One time, when we were moving again, she stated she was stressed and needed to go stay with a friend. I told her not to leave and that I needed her help with prepping for the move as we had to be out the next day. She kissed me, told me she loved me, and then left. I found out 3 months ago that she left to go sleep with another man. I did everything, and we were able to move again. I found another hidden email account of hers, and when confronted, she admitted to being on site but denied cheating. I told her to open it up and let me read it then to confirm she is just talking. She said no, so I packed my stuff and walked out the door. Our youngest daughter came running and begged me not to leave, so I went back in the house. My wife and I went to counseling a couple times. 3 months ago, we had a fight. She admitted to being on online sites for 8 years. I made a comment asking how many men she slept with. If it was once a year, it was 8. If it was once a month, it was 96. If it was once a week, it was 416 men. She responded without thinking that it was just two, not counting the carny I knew about, so it was not that bad. This was when I found out that she left me to sleep with a guy when I/the family needed her to help to move. She said she had not cheated on me in 13 years, so I needed to get over it. So I know that 2 of my 4 children are definitely not mine biologically, and possibly a third is not mine biologically, and that my wife cheated on me over a 15-year period with 3 men, and they were long-term relationships that ended due to us moving. She claims to not have cheated in over 13 years. I stayed before because of the kids. I didn't want them growing up in a slum or not being taken care of. I did all the cleaning, cooking, tucked the kids into bed when they were little, and generally took care of them. I still help them out financially, even though they are adults. They are now all out of school, so it is just my wife and I, though our youngest son, the one she had while cheating with her carny lover, and his wife and kids moved in with us due to losing his apartment and job. I am gutted that she could do this to me when I was the perfect husband. She even said I was perfect, and when I ask why, all she ever says is, "I don't know." I suspected all this time and stayed, but now that I know, I want to walk away. She's the only woman I ever slept with, and I worked hard to have the fairy tale life that everyone who sees us thinks we have. However, it is all a facade. I feel I wasted all my love and devotion to a woman who will just as easily find another guy and never have another thought about me. My goodness, man, it's time to move on. Don't let this woman drag you through the mud, and at a very minimum, even if just one of the kids is yours, you have to teach them not to let people treat you like this through life. It's never too late. Start over. I'm so curious to see what others have to say. Well, if nothing else, she's very fertile. How many unexpected pregnancies was that? I lost count. She had shown you so many red flags, you could have made a quilt the size of a football field. My man, DNA all the kids and divorce her. You are nothing more than a housekeeper and a wallet for her, and always have been. There is still time to enjoy your life. Speak to a lawyer and move on. All of her friends saying they are jealous that OP takes care of her and her kids? That's really why she stays. She's been using him her whole life. Of course, you must end it with her. She has zero respect for you. The kids must be notified. Let the balls land where they will. This is her issue. She's never once suffered consequences for any of her actions, from the very beginning, when you were kids. You've been the easy fallback option. Why should she change now? I'm going to say there's a pretty strong guarantee that she only admitted a small percentage of what she's actually done. And I'm going to guess that you already know that. Honestly, how will you not be surprised? She's been cheating with every other guy all her life, so he should have expected this. And now for our second story, another chump joins the club. Progress. Been reading for months, and when I started, I truly thought we'd reconcile. Of course, I, 39-year-old male, never saw it coming, and truly thought we'd be that old couple that makes it. Married almost 12 years, together for 14, known her 20 plus. D-Day was October 30th. No smoking gun, just a gut feeling that made me look at her, 39-year-old female, phone one night. I've never looked through her phone before that night. Like so many others, I wasn't wrong. That gut feeling rarely is. She'd gone to a high school reunion in August. I didn't go with, as it involved flights, and we have 2 kids and no local family to watch them. Ends up being a lot of money to see people I barely know and don't care about. I'm the breadwinner. She's been a stay-at-home mom for 10.5 years since our daughter was born. Looking back, there were plenty of red flags of terrible, abusive behavior. Not as bad as some I've read, but enough that I should have set hard boundaries and walked years ago. Anyway, it seems the relationship kicked off there. She swears nothing happened there, and he's not a boyfriend from her past, but I don't believe a word she says anymore. She had a family member go into hospice in September, so I rearranged my work schedule to watch the kids so she could see them one more time. The family member ends up passing, so she extends her stay for a week to attend the funeral and mess around with her new boyfriend, apparently. Lots of texting via Facebook Messenger after that, including how they're meant to be together and are so in love. Puke. even attempts to meet up with him in Nashville to attend a game, which she actually asked me to go to, and I agreed. It's a high school friend. I trusted her then, didn't think anything of it. At the time, I was traveling every other week for work, and there were attempts to have him come visit. We live on the East Coast, he's in North Dakota, and she invited him to stay at our house with our kids. He didn't seem comfortable with that, and they seemed to have had a falling out shortly before D-Day. She went kind of crazy pursuing him, and even after the falling out, it was clear she was still strongly in limerence with him. Anyway, my world was devastated. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't work. Desperately did the pick-me dance for a week, maybe 2 weeks. Got some support from family, friends, and a coworker who's been through it too and is 2 years into the curve. Learned to focus on me, something I never did in our relationship. Exercise and read. Still desperately wanted her. Or maybe just my comfortable life back where I wasn't so hurt and betrayed. She didn't know what she wants, is lost. It's not about him. Loves me, but isn't in love with me. And all the other BS lines that we all hear. Somewhere around the beginning of December, I was reading No More Mr. Nice Guy and committed to a firm boundary. A fair partner had to be no contact and out of our lives or I would end us. I told her in the beginning, during the pick-me dance, that I was terrified of losing her. Told her that day I wasn't scared to lose her, but just didn't want to, and that I wouldn't hesitate to end us if she didn't respect me. I still don't know if she didn't think I would follow through or truly wants to separate and is just too weak to pull the trigger herself. Ultimately, I suppose she wants her cake. The nice lifestyle I provide, but the fun of doing whatever she wants. Like so many others I've read about on here that have helped me learn how to handle this situation, she's selfish and feels entitled. Told her on January 6th myself on the advice of my attorney, your state may be different, follow their advice, and told her they would contact her to arrange to have her served. They've tried to contact, and she's avoided it since. She's always run from her problems and avoided them, hoping they just go away. To be fair, I've always accommodated that behavior. Sorry, sweetheart, you can't run from this one. I'll take a financial hit. That part sucks, and I'm very soured on marriage as a result. I've always viewed what I make as ours, and it was supposed to be. It's BS that she chose this path and is somehow still entitled to my retirement and home equity. But that is what it is. I try not to be too bitter and get hung up on that. I've been focused on skiing with my daughter, 10, and playing Nerf guns and plastic army men with my son, 5. I continue to exercise. I know there'll be a battle coming up because I don't think she's accepted the reality of the situation. She can't fight me for the house, and I can buy her out, so she'll have to leave. We're still cohabitating. The state will require her to find full-time employment. She has a 4-year degree, held teaching certificate in 3 states prior, and had a few years of teaching experience before she got pregnant with our daughter. She doesn't want to teach anymore and told me not too long before D-Day, I can't imagine having to work at a regular job. #eye roll. Sorry, sweetheart, you made the wrong choices if that was the case. I handle almost everything that you would consider adult real life for us. She's effectively a 12-year-old trapped in a 39-year-old body. Real life is coming at her like a freight train, and when it hits, it won't be pretty. I get sad thinking about it because I do still love her. You can't flip a switch and shut that off, though the feeling is ever so slowly starting to die. Indifference is the goal, and I can almost see it way out there in the future somewhere. I just have to continue to do the work to get there. Anyway, I know this has gotten long, but figured it was time to tell my story. Always helps to get it out, and each time I do, a small piece of the weight lifts. I'm lucky to have a strong family, friend, and coworker support structure around me, even though much of it is via phone, spread around the country. In addition to just wanting to post this for myself, I hope it can inspire someone whose D-Day was yesterday, or maybe the same as mine but struggling, or maybe 2 years ago, tried to reconcile and is having questions. I'm not saying reconcile isn't possible or the right path. The other partner needs to be invested in it, and thinking of you, the BS, not themselves. My soon-to-be ex-wife is only focused on one thing: herself. In the clarity of the moment, looking at our lives, she always has been. Time for me to do better. For anyone still reading and dealing and hoping to find a path forward, here's what worked for me. This sub. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent reading stories and comments. While the comments guide you mostly to leave your cheater, they're not wrong. They're hard truth that takes some time to accept. You can't control another's behavior, and this happens to good people all the time. Do things for you, no matter how small. Eventually, you'll work your way up to big ones. My soon-to-be ex-wife invited me to go with her and the kids to something the other day. She continues to keep her head in the sand and act like all is normal, and if she ignores it, it'll all go away. Additionally, I think she just wanted to help with the kids so it wasn't so hard on her. I declined. In the past, I'd have felt I had to go, even if I didn't want to. Sat at home, listened to some music I like, and had a beer. It was wonderful, and hopefully a taste of my future life without such a selfish, miserable person hurting me. I think this is the right call. Seems like he's 20 years ahead of OP from story 1, and thank goodness he's making the right moves to put his life on the right track. He has to put himself first. And now for some comments. Can you serve her the papers at home, or does it have to be an unaffiliated third-party type thing? OP. I cannot serve the papers personally. They can come to the house. The whole point of having them contact her was to allow her to control the time and place and do it discreetly and not by surprise. She decided to give up that courtesy, I guess. I still think she thinks she can avoid it, and I'll go back down. I guess I always have in the past when it's come to boundaries, so why should she think it'll be different now? That's her choice. I'll continue to control myself and keep moving forward. Wait, she cheated and she's still entitled to your money? Have you talked to a divorce attorney who told you that? If that's really how it works, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry anyway, because this is not cool. Too many good people are taken advantage of by people who just use them. You aren't a chump, and you're a hero for moving past this. The self-respect gained by leaving these things is incredible. Nobody can really F with a person betrayed who gains the strength to make their own life. Keep going, man. It only gets better when the dust settles and you're driving forward. OP. Thanks for the kind words. And yes, no fault state, so she's entitled to my money. May tilt the table slightly in my favor as I have proof of the infidelity, but only slightly, per my attorney. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.